Okay, back again to talk about some more twin flame stuff. For those of you that follow me and enjoy the Zooms that we have that talking about twin flames, you're more than welcome to join and let us know your story and what it is you went through. You know, we're here to listen. Um, doesn't cost anything. It's all free. So just feel free to come and join. My email will be in the description below. And Yasmin's as well. So you're more than welcome to ask for an invite. But anyways, let's get
I
started.
love hearing the stories. Like, bring the stories. Come on, join us. We want to hear what apparently happened to you.
Exactly. It's nice to hear because everybody's, they experience so much different things, and it's like neat to hear what they went, apparently went through, So what I wanted to bring up is to go on with the same thing because it was a paragraph, but they were basically saying that the twin wasn't actually willing to work on themselves. So this person had to go on a mission by themselves to spread love in the world. And that's the thing, I feel like this is that fairy tale-ness. This is that shit that people believe in when it comes to the whole concept twin flame, that you have to go on a mission. Oh, and they said that she's at a 9D, the ninth D, that she's there and she's staying there. See what I'm saying? Like, there's no fucking way. To me, those levels, when you reach those certain levels, basically it's just you being you're authentically being you. That's what I look at it as, but they're looking at it in a whole different way. Like they're at that zenness.
It's the story.
It's the story.
It's just the story, and that's okay. Like,
yeah.
When I was doing the whole spiritual thing, I remember thinking there was other dimensions and this, and I mean, I'm not saying there are not. I don't know. Anything's possible, but I remember, like, because the mind wants to keep you, I don't even know if that's true, but keep you locked into some kind of I'm going to get something. I'm going to achieve a new level. I'm going to achieve this. I'm going to get my twin. Who's getting it? Like, no, you to get it. And once that appears to fall away, then it's like everything is seen for what it really is. But during, in the story, there's all kinds of, it's kind of like, it's okay. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. But I mean, I don't know how, because I did it too. I remember like seeking and seeking and seeking and thinking I was going to get my twin from it. He was going to come back, and, we were going to have it was never like during that time about me. It was always about him, no matter what I did, even though I was reading everything and doing everything and meditating. In the back of my mind, I knew that the goal was at that point to be with my twin. And once that finally appears to go away, and it's not a something you're doing anymore, actively seeking, and not that there's judgment, it just goes away on its own. And in its place for here anyway, is there's a peace and a freedom and a love that I never connected with since I was a child, and it's a beautiful journey. If the person wants to meditate or whatever it is they do to reach some type of level, then so be it. But that's not going to bring your twin flame close. And if you feel like you're going to go on a mission and spread love and it's going to bring your twin flame around you, that's not it. I mean, they could, but it won't be because you're on a mission and you reached the ninth level. It's just because they chose to show up at that time. Right. There's no what do you call it? There's no calendar where it says, oh, your twin's gonna come if you reach the, there's no rule book here on how they're gonna show up in your life. But hey, if you want to fucking reach the 9th level, I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is, but I used to believe in that shit. I used to believe if I reached the 5th dimension that I was in my higher self. And it was going to attract my twin flame. And my twin flame probably don't even know what the fuck that is. And if I was to tell him that I'm at the 5D level, he'd probably be like, what the fuck? Yeah. Either one of them.
Any of them. If
Oh,
I was to tell
yeah.
them that shit, they'd be like, well, what the fuck is that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
They were so ignorant. I'm gonna say ignorant to that shit, but it is not ignorant. They just didn't know what that shit. They don't know what any of that stuff is. So
No.
yeah, if you want to go ahead and do all that shit, feel free to do it. But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that's gonna bring your twin flame, because there's no knowing.
I just finished 4 years since I've seen my twin, right? Or heard from him or whatever. He got married, whatever, life moved forward. And I can finally say that, like, and it's a process, especially if it hits you as if you're on the floor as long as I was on the floor and is apparently affected as much as the character here was, then yeah, it's a process, man. And as long as your focus is outside of you, then it is what it is. But it seems to take longer for me because I was really focused on my twin, no matter what I was doing. But that was just what was happening. So
But you're not
there's
even
no,
focused on him now, though, and he still
yeah,
ain't. You know what I'm saying?
there's
It
no
doesn't
judgment.
matter anymore.
I don't care anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have any feeling at all about him, about an apparent other person anymore. I just,
Yeah.
everything is just unfolding as it unfolds. So, what's the purpose of the journey? I don't know. Like they say, it's to realize what you already are. I would say that resonates here, but
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? But it seems to be the outcome at the end of the longing and stuff when you start to like let go of that. It does seem here that I'm absolutely more peaceful and joyful, and I'm grateful. Like there is gratitude that appeared to happen so that I wouldn't have spent the rest of my apparent time here in that mindset of attachment and ego and all that. I'm glad that appears to be gone.
Yeah. So I did get another message here too that says, am I the only one who feels like I can't love someone else the same way I love my DM? There is just something special about him. I don't know what it is exactly. It's like he has the key to my heart. Whenever I feel like I may love someone else, even though they have all the things I might look for in a partner, I just miss that thing me and my twin flame have. It's confusing as I am now on my healing journey. So me missing him just makes me go back to the old patterns. But at the same time, I'd like to live my life and not wait for someone that may not come back.
I get that.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
Look, I still think like, God, no, if only I could meet someone that's like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I still do that. I get that. Because I think you just triggered me on something, because I do that. I still, whether it be conscious or subconscious, there's comparisons going on. Like, oh, he's really cute, but he doesn't have so and so, my twin's hair, or wow, my twin had beautiful eyes. I do that still. I don't know if that ever goes away. I mean, I'm sure it does. For me, that's still here. They're still comparing. It is. The twin flame journey kicks your ass, man. It makes you think you'll never be able to love anyone like that. You'll never, because it's so fucking amazing. For the time that it is. But no, it's just a story. It's hard though. It's hard to let it go. It's one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but the reward for focusing back on your own energy or whatever, I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just saying that you are so much more than another human being. You're so complete already without the appearance of another apparent human being, even if they are you. What they're appearing is not you. That's an illusion. That's a human form. You don't need it.
And even focusing on them, it will stop when it stops. Like there's really nothing a person can actually really do for it to stop. But yet a person will think, well, if I heal something, it will help me stop thinking of them or obsessing over them or comparing them to somebody else. No, it kind of just stops on its own. And it may stop during the healing, but it won't be because you're healing. It's just because, sorry, I'm spitting everywhere. It's just because you just stopped. I went through all the healing stuff trying to get over mine, and nothing really worked, and one day it just kind of ended. Although I'm still kind of dealing with one, but not really. But I find myself comparing with guys to what he looks like. You
Yeah.
know, the way he looks, the way he carries himself and all that. I'm like, fuck, man. Only if I could, match up with the guy that looks like him and has, his way, some of his ways and stuff. Because he can be a dick. He can be a dick. So I can, push that aside, put that aside. But
Yeah.
what I want to tell this person is there's nothing wrong with you having these feelings like you're having for him. It is what it is, and it will stop on its own. You can't force it to just go away. There's no control over that happening. There's nothing wrong with you. There is no work that needs to be done. It's just you naturally being organically who you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. But these teachers will tell you that you got to get healing done. Not all teachers. There's some that don't do that. But the ones that do will tell you, you need to align your chakras. You need to get some Reiki healing and all this shit. I did it. I went and seen a shaman and everything. And it still didn't do nothing for me. So there's nothing you can do. You not wanting your twin flame anymore will stop on its own.
Yeah, it will on its own.
So what else I have here? How did you come to understand you were with a false twin? This is fine. So I don't know what a false twin is. I don't know what a twin flame is. I don't know what a soulmate is. I don't know what a kindred spirit is. But when I was in the story, I knew what all of that was. But there's no really telling what any of that stuff is. But there was this sense that I felt when I met the first one. It was a sense like, what is this? Like, energetically, I felt pulled to him. I looked in his eyes and I had that what they call soul recognition. They call it soul recognition in the story, but just made up. There's no such thing. But I felt a recognition the moment I looked in his eyes. I felt that, oh my God, like I know you, but I don't know you. I really don't know you, but I feel like I know you. And it was very intense. And then all of a sudden, things were cool at first. And then all of a sudden, the runner chaser started to happen. And then it got really bad towards the end. I mean, it was constant after that. It was just, oh my God, it was awful, to the point where I was so glad to finally like walk away. It was the hardest thing I could have ever done because I couldn't shake this dude for the life of me. And that's how I knew, okay, this is a twin. I didn't know it was a twin flame thing then, but now thinking back, fuck yeah, that was. I felt everything. I went through some abandonment issues with that motherfucker and everything. I mean, I felt everything. Like when you're doing the runner chaser, it's a different thing with the long separation because while you're doing the runner chaser, you're dealing with it right then and there. You're not doing it alone. Where when you have the long drawn out separation, you're doing it alone.
Yeah.
So you're going through it, but it's like, it's aggravating as fuck. Because you're going, it's constant. So, and yeah, I don't know why that happened to me. And then when I met the other one, the runner chaser didn't start to happen until towards the end, but it was very light. It wasn't as intense as the first one. That's because I was having to deal with it all the time. It was very intense. But once the separation happened, I was having to deal with it on my own. So that really fucked me up. 100%. I went into that dark, whatever you call the dark night of soul, and it just was full throttle, like, oh my God. And then after that, the third one came along, and it wasn't as intense, but it was intense. But I realized, because non-duality had already happened, so I already realized what the fuck was going on. But I knew the moment is that eye contact and that recognition that you get, and you don't know what it is. There was nothing that we had in common. It wasn't like a soulmate thing or anything like that. Would never say that they were my soulmate. It was just that recognition that you get right away It's like, I knew he recognized me and I recognized him. And I knew he wouldn't be able to shake me just as much as I wasn't able to shake him. Until this day, I still have a problem shaking him a little bit, but it's not as half as bad as it was with the other ones. But anyways, I don't know what a false twin flame is, and I don't think there's such thing. Like, I don't think there's such thing as a twin flame. I just feel like it was just what was appearing to happen, and there's no definition or no rhyme or reason to why it happened. They'll say it's because it was to wake you up, but did it? Like, that's the story. Like, we don't know what the fuck happened, or apparently we went through something. Apparently we did. All this shit started to happen, but what was that? We can't go off of what a teacher was telling us because they're assuming just like we are. We're assuming just as much as they are, but you know, they have the answers apparently, right? They're going to tell you. But we're going to go along with it because we resonate with what they're saying, but at the same time, neither one of us know what the fuck's going on. But anyways, right. I've been rambling too much. Go ahead, your turn.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's no nothing's labeled real. You can call a cardinal, but that's not what it is. Like, we just call things stuff. We don't know why this appears to happen. It just, the only thing I would say is there appears to be a pattern that seems to be happening in this illusion with apparent people, that energetically the illusion that they're in is dropping away, or seems to, and there's a new perspective that, you know, is to me easier than being in the illusion of, like, without any kind of consciousness about what's happening with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just being completely like in it, immersed in it, not knowing what it is, suffering all the time. There appeared to be a lot of suffering here, crying, hating my life, resentments, ego, fighting with my family members, you know, always thinking I was right. That's all gone.
Yeah.
I mean, fighting, things can still arise. You can still have an argument. You can still feel like you're correct in the argument, but there's no attachment to I have to be right and I'm not going to speak to you because you know, I'm angry with you. I mean, you may get your feathers ruffled for a little bit, but then it seems to just dissipate and go away, and then you're back to being, I mean, here all my relationships have improved. Everything. The only thing is the motivation to work is gone. I don't want to work. I don't care if I have a job.
Right.
I don't worry anymore. But
right. It's like, what the fuck? Like, how did that even happen? I don't want to work.
I mean, eventually, if things don't work out, I'll go back to work. Big deal. I'll figure it out.
It's that fucking, if you have to, you know what I mean? I hate that fucking feeling like, oh man, if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. I have no motivation at all. I told John that the other day, I just don't want to. I don't want to. But what can you do? What can you do?
It's almost like you kind of go back to the teenage years where you're just like happy and enjoy your life, and you're just, you know, everything's being taken care of, so you're not worried anymore.
Right. And not like, wanting to go to school. It's like that feeling you don't want to go to school, but you have to. That's what I feel like. I have to go to school and I don't want to go to school, but instead it's work. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, this person was saying, see, I get all these and I never get to answer any of them because I'm hardly ever in the group, you know. But yeah, it says the synchronicities I experienced when we met and all in the beginning were absolutely insane and outwardly, and we've experienced them together all the way through. When things have been less than favorable, this is what's kept me moving forward. But the disrespect of my emotions is just insane. I feel like I'm with another narcissist. I hear that a lot. And surely my true twin flame couldn't just treat me like this. See, as I'm saying, there are so many twin flames out there that say that their twin flame is a narcissist. The two that I dealt with on each end were more of a narcissist than the other one was. And I find that the ones that do the runner and chaser are normally the ones that are the narcissist type of energy. I don't know, but that's what I've come across a lot. And the one that is the long drawn out separation aren't much of a narcissist. No. It's weird. The ones that do the runner chaser are for some reason, but may not be. I don't know.
Yeah, it could show up anyway. But I think you and I have in common. Like, my twin was not a narcissist. He wasn't. He was kind and funny and I can't really say anything bad about him other than the fact that he left me for someone else.
Yeah. And which is kind of
But
fucked up too, you know, it's like fucked up that
yeah,
they did that. Same here.
but they're still energetically, I don't care anymore. Like there's no hurt there anymore. I
Yeah.
told you last time I saw him, I felt it. The pull, I didn't even know what it was. I know
Yeah.
what twin flames were. I had seen it once and said, "Oh, I think you're my twin flame," because it was a cutesy saying. And then it was after he left that I researched it because you
Yeah.
know sometimes we're led to do that. But I felt it physically the last time I was in his presence. He came to my house to pick up some things. He was leaving, and I felt this weird magnetic push.
Hmm.
And it was like not even I don't even know if it was felt like the opposite ends of a magnet when you're trying to put them together and they push away. I could feel it. And I remember like thinking in my head, what was that?
Hmm.
What was that? And I thought to I never had felt that in the presence of any human being. And it was the weirdest feeling, like the pushing, I could feel it. And so after he left, I remember like sitting on my bed and thinking, that was the weirdest feeling I've ever had.
Yeah.
What was it? And I could feel it physically. And I remember thinking that felt like two ends of a magnet. I remember thinking he couldn't have come close to me if he wanted to. There was this thing between us, this wall. So for me, even though that's in the story, that lends credibility to it for me too, because I experienced that.
Yeah.
There was an experience of that energetically. I'm not made, was real.
Whoa,
So
yeah.
So for me, it just reaffirms that was a twin flame experience. You know what I mean? Like, not that there's another, not that there's two of us, but because the energy was between us, because
Yeah, it was energetic pull, the energetic pull.
Same energy. I felt it, physically felt it. So it was real.
I know. Weird. I feel what you're talking about because with the one I'm dealing with now, and I'm not gonna say his name, I know I can feel the pull when he's near, and something will tell me to go look on social media. Like I'll go look, and boom, he's right there. I'll feel him before I even look, and I know, boom, he's right there. I'm like, oh, that's what I was feeling. I felt that, but then I can also feel when he's pulling away. Yeah, and I know it right away. I'm like, oh, he's going.
Right.
He's going. I can feel it. And even with the middle one, I could feel it with him. And then the first one, I could feel it, but I didn't understand it. I didn't know what a twin flame was. I didn't know what was going on. And I kept asking everybody because I just wanted answers. I'm like, what is this that I'm feeling? Like, why is this happening to me? No one could tell me. This was in 2015, 14-ish.
Yeah.
No one knew. I don't even think anybody talked about twin flames back then. But I knew something was off. Because I would feel him too energetically pull away. And then when I go look, he would like delete me off of his shit. And I felt him doing it. And someone would tell me to go look and I'd be wiped out.
I had that with Rudy too. I always knew
like,
when
I felt it.
Yeah.
It was weird. I felt that pull. And then with the middle, and with the middle one, I felt it too. Like I knew when he was going to go. I knew when it was going to end. Like I felt it before he even did it. And boom, it happened. So it was like same, and who knows, Rudy may have been the same situation, but it showed up in a different way.
We're still very good friends though, like energetically. Like if I were to focus on Rudy, I know this sounds crazy, but if I were to because we're connected always, everything's one, right? But there's, like I said, close resident when you're here in human form. I do believe that you vibrate higher with some certain other humans because frequency matters in this apparent illusion, I think. I mean, makes sense, but if I were to focus on him, like really start to think about him, he would text me or call. He would within the next couple of days. He would.
Mine did total opposite.
Happens.
I know it's when I would focus on mine, he kind of pulls away. He could feel me focusing on him, so he would pull away. But the moment I wasn't focusing on him, boom, he would show up. So, and I don't know what that means. Like with you, it was different. Like he'd feel you and he'd show up. So I'm saying it's like everybody's different, you know?
There wasn't any kind of fear-based energy, like any expectation or something. No, I'm not saying there was with you, but there was there's no romantic feelings there anymore. It's just friendship. It's a kinship. So now he'll, he would reach out. But not my twin. I get
No, that's what I'm saying. They didn't yet. I'm telling you, like with all three of my, they won't show up if I've noticed, and I don't know why it's like that. I couldn't tell you. When I'm focused, no. When I'm not focused, yes. It's a pattern. It's this pattern. But when I'm not so like, I don't know. But then there are times when he will show up, but when he does, he's a dick because I feel like I'm too focused on him.
Right,
so he's
right.
giving me that energy of that pull energy still. It's still, because he's in a dickish way. So I'm like, okay, you're still pulling back.
He feels like his energy is trumping yours, and some like he's at a higher level than you or something, maybe energetically, and he's doing that. I don't know, but
I don't even think they realize it. I don't think they realize when they're doing it. I don't think they even realize it. I think they're just fucking doing it. I think they're just like, I wonder sometimes they're like, damn, why am I being this way? Because I can feel when he's thinking about me because I'm not paying attention to him. Right. So I can feel it. It's the weirdest thing. And all of a sudden I can feel the pull, the energetic pull. I'm like, oh. And then I'll go on my stuff and then boom, there he'll be.
No, I believe you. I know that I've seen that happen here with relationships. I have seen that.
Another question too, how do you know if you found your twin flame? They're really, look, twin flame is just a concept at the end of the day. But since we get a sense that there's something just not right. That's what it is. Like something's off. Like this is what I normally experience with men. Like this is a little different. And apparently that's why they call it twin flame. But really, we don't know why those things happen and why and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like in the story, there's so many signs that they say you can tell because I don't know. There's a lot of, I don't know. The thing is, you don't really know till after they leave. That's just my opinion. It's after they leave that it becomes apparent that this wasn't normal, that something happened, because it can feel like a normal relationship. It's just after they leave that energetically.
The long drawn out one.
Like you feel like you're dying, and it's not like, and the obsessive thoughts, that's a big sign. I think if you cannot stop thinking, I've been in breakups before where I had the person on my mind for 6 months or whatever, pretty often, but this is a whole fucking nother level, at least here. And I think a lot of people who have this journey experience the obsessive thoughts. I know you had it where they
all three of them. I did. It was awful. It was awful.
I've had obsessive thoughts with other boyfriends, but this was on crack.
It's awful. It's unreal.
This was different. Like my twin, it was different. I could not stop the thoughts. Yeah. I could not. It was like a motor that was running at 100 miles an hour. It was just, and then, you reach a point where you don't give a fuck if they come back. You just want it to stop. Desperate for it to stop. Just stop. I don't care if he comes back. I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to think about it anymore. I would say that's a telltale sign.
Yeah. And, when I used to, help people when I was, like what you would call a twin flame teacher, whatever, I would hear so many different stories from different people, there was so many different cases, but they were all similar, but then not all the same, right. And it was really interesting to me, but it was the obsessive thoughts. They said they'd all had the obsessive thoughts. They couldn't shake the person. It was very sticky. Yeah. And I did all that with all three of them, actually. People were getting so tired of me talking about the first one. I used to talk about him constantly. I just couldn't shake him. I couldn't understand why I was feeling these energetic pulls and why I felt like I knew him, but I didn't know him. It was like this energetic knowing. It wasn't a knowing like, oh, we kicked it together or we hung out somewhere. No, it wasn't that. It was an energetic knowing. It was energy. I energetically recognized him.
Yeah.
And
That can,
with all of them, like even with the middle one and the third one, it was this energetic, like, yeah, it's just, and you can't
I
make
was,
out, huh?
I just, with other boyfriends who I had even a lot of like of the obsessive thoughts and couldn't get past or whatever. Cause I had a fiance for 6 years. After we broke up, that was so heart wrenching. Like it took me a long time to get past it.
Yeah.
And we broke up when we were still happy, I thought. And Rudy and I, we fought and fought. I mean, we broke up so many times, but I grieved it hard.
Yeah.
But when it was different. And then I had all this energetic stuff that never happened with them, like on a level that seemed supernatural at the time.
Wow. I
And
didn't have that with my other boyfriends.
the Kundalini stuff, all of that
Yeah.
appeared to happen after he left. And the obsessive thoughts and the seeking and the seeking and the seeking. I never had that with my last fiance, or I mean with Andrew or with Rudy. I never had seeking energies other than, I wanted not to feel hurt or sad anymore.
Yeah.
But with the twin, it was different. It was definitely what felt like pushed me into some kind of spiritual path that no one I had ever been with had done. I don't know. I just felt like there was something happening that was not being controlled by the person. It just felt like it was unfolding in a way that I was being led somewhere. I don't know. I can't
Yeah,
describe
you
it.
don't know. There's no knowing. Like, I've never experienced any of this shit with any boyfriend. I've never been that obsessive with anyone. But when I met that first one, that's when it started. Because I wasn't that type of female. When I say I was an alpha female, I was an alpha female. But when it came to that first person, I feel like that's where it started. That was the beginning. Because it was so magical and so intense and just so like out of this world that when I would talk about it to somebody, I really felt like they thought I was nuts. Matter of fact, my friend, she would like just kind of look at me, my friend Leela, with the first one. And I would ask her, like, what is this? Like, why am I going through this? And she would like try to come up with something, because she didn't know what to say. But then eventually after 2 years, it just got too much for me. And thank God I didn't know about the twin flame concept at the time. I didn't know nothing about that shit. But thank God I did it. But then when the second one came, that's when it really just hit me like a ton of bricks. And then in the third one, the same connect, but it was a lot lighter, but still very intense. I ain't had no other experience since then. But I don't know what any of that is. I really don't. I hate saying it's a twin flame thing because to me, there is no knowing. There's no telling.
It's just a label anyway. There's everything label that doesn't mean it is what it is.
Yeah.
But everyone's journey is unique and individual. And I believe that to be true for you. Like everything unfolded the way it was meant to, I like to say what happened here for me was to get my attention, not the person, but energetically to get my attention. If it didn't hurt as much, I would have moved on to the next person. It had to get my attention. That's just the way it had to hurt. It had to, that was, I don't know. That's just the story, but the way everything unfolded back then, I didn't see it as a beautiful thing. I thought it was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I never thought I'd get over it. I was the saddest I'd ever been.
Right.
I was dying. I mean, I thought that I was crazy. I thought that everyone now thought I was crazy. I thought my family, because they did look at me like, oh, she's nuts. She's lost it, and I thought I was crazy because I didn't know what the fuck was happening to me.
Right.
But I can tell you, like, it's sitting here now, 4 years later, I am grateful.
Oh, I love that we all went through that. I feel like that we, the ones that didn't, I'm like, wow, you didn't get to experience what I got to experience, and I'm still going through it. I'm still going through shit, and like the numbers and stuff, I love that those appear to happen. I don't know why they're appearing, but it is what it is. I no longer hold attachments to why they appear.
Yeah.
It's just what's happening. And I love it. I love all the little stuff. It's fun. That's why I like talking about it. Yeah.
It's constant. I love it. I mean, I don't look for it either. It's funny because that I used to look for it, look at the clock, look at the clock. But now I never do that. I never look at the clock to see if it's an 11:11 or 43. But 9 times out of 10, my attention will be drawn and it'll be 11 something or a 43. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just smile. I'm like, okay, well, or I'll think today I'm seeing this a lot. I don't try to think there's a meaning behind it, but I just feel like I must be really like aligned today or something. There's a thought that goes with that. Like, well, energetically, because it feels like the more peaceful I am energetically, the more I see the numbers. I see them every day, but feels like if I'm off, if I'm angry or staying in an energy that's not, I don't see them as much. I don't know why. That just appears to be a pattern. That
Yeah.
if I'm feeling peaceful and neutral, I see them more. What about you?
They just appear unexpectedly for me. And I'll see it and I'll be like, oh, but I'll keep going. It's no more like, let me go look it up and see what it means.
Yeah.
I used to do that a lot. What was her name? She was Angel Numbers. Her name was Joanne something. But not no more. I don't do that. Yeah. I'm okay with it coming up and I enjoy it when it does happen. That's why I want to continue to keep talking about this twin flame stuff, because I feel like more people need to hear this. I kind of came off track a little bit and stopped really, but now I'm like, no, I want to make my page more about that. I want to talk more about it. I want people to feel okay that they can come on here and tell their story. I might keep it 100 and I might be real. I don't sugarcoat shit, but still, I want someone to come on and still feel comfortable to tell their story. And I like that we all have our own different perspectives too. That's good. It's like Cisco and Ebert.
Yeah, right. Everyone has their own, like, exactly, like, because you're going by what you resonate with and what you apparently experience, right? So,
but it makes it so unique,
Yeah, and listen, we've all been there. That's what we do have in common, is that all three of us here have experienced what appears to be a twin flame thing. And I'm only saying twin flame because that's what they call it. I don't know what the hell, but we've all energetically had an experience that seems to what is the word I'm looking for? When you move out of something, transformed in some way, transcended or transformed. Yeah. So it's like, we all got there. Not that you get anywhere. You find out that you never were anywhere else.
Yeah.
But the thing is, all of our experiences were different, and yet it's the same non-duality at the end. So, and I would love it if more people found your channel like I did, like Yasmin did, because I was like Yasmin, alone. Nobody knew what a fucking twin flame was or the experience of it. I just thought I was this nutcase who was obsessed with my ex-boyfriend.
Right.
Nothing more than to never fucking think about him again. Nobody wanted it more than me. I couldn't stop. That's a hard feeling when you're feeling like you're trapped in
especially when you go through a non-dual experience, a non-dual thing, you feel really alone because you're like, well, what about twin flames? What was that?
What was that?
What was that? Yeah.
Yeah. That goes away like with it.
But that's why I brought it up, I brought it up on my channel because I'm like, no, I went through the whole non-dual thing and this needs to be talked about. Like people that have gone through it, they want to talk about this, but we're about to shut off. It's a minute.
Oh,
but we will talk some more next week for sure. And I wish you nothing but the best on, the whole memorial thing. I love you and I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I love you. He's right here. He's never left.
He is. Yes, he is. All right. Mwah.
Love you, honey.
Soon.
Bye.
Love you. Bye-bye.